Good morning, you strange and wonderful weirdos. I'm John.
I'm Stacey.
It's Wednesday, December 21st. Short one, don't you know? And here's why. Today is strange.
All right, so it is the winter solstice today. Happy solstice, everybody.
Very short day. In fact, some would say the shortest day of the year for some of us.
That's right.
Others of us out there watching, listening, maybe, long day. Could be.
Guess depends on where you live.
Could be. Like there's two halves of a planet happening. Mm-hmm. Weirdness in a planet. Almost like patterns. But we might come back to that later. But yeah, it's a good day to get out and if you're up here where we are and, do a pagan-y ceremony around some old stones in a damp yard somewhere, naked.
Where we'd find any of those. Ooh, it's a little cold for that.
Well, it's a bit pointy time of year.
Little nippy.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. For females, it's way more pointy. For males, not quite as.
Oh, wow. All right. Shall we?
We better.
Get into it. Okay. So, a team of physicists suggests that an instrument that we have called LIGO, the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, could be used to detect giant alien spacecraft.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's a new paper, a new study that they put out, and it's from some physicists affiliated with several different institutions in the U.S. have collaborated on this paper to discuss the possibility of using LIGO to search for evidence of aliens piloting huge spacecraft around the Milky Way. They claim that over the past several decades, that, they've been getting kind of frustrated with our inability to find any sort of life anywhere in the universe.
Aww.
Yes, other than Earth.
Have more patience.
And so they claim that it's not beyond the realm of possibility that aliens piloting spacecraft could leave gravity waves in their wake that could be detected here on Earth with this Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory.
It's what's wrong with this universe. Too many uncontrolled, unregulated gravity waves.
I know, just willy-nilly all over the universe.
Getting rid of all the dark matter.
So intrigued by their own idea, they imagined the factors that they might need to be involved for such a scenario to unfold. What would have to happen? What size would the spacecraft have to be? How fast would it have to be going for them to be able to detect those gravitational waves? And that's the point of the paper.
How fast would it?
Well, apparently it would have to be a pretty big spacecraft, roughly the size of Jupiter.
That's pretty big. That's pretty spacecraft.
Big. Yeah, and it would have to be going pretty fast.
So it would have to be Jupiter-sized for it to detect it.
For us to be able to detect those gravitational waves. Yes, it would have to be.
I have a dog that died a decade ago. Mm-hmm. You remember that dog? Mm-hmm. And that dog buried in a backyard that's no longer there. Bones that are, God knows where they are.
Right.
But that dog could detect a UFO the size of bleeding Jupiter.
Well, that's how big it would have to be for the gravity waves to be strong enough to reach us. It would also have to be going about 1/10 the speed of light. So big spacecraft going that fast. And it would have to be reasonably close. And they consider reasonably close about 326,000 light years from Earth.
Light years, eh?
Yeah, 326,000 light years.
Light years.
Light years, yes. So under such conditions, under those very specific conditions, if they were to arise, we could spot the gravity waves generated. I dare say, if you have a Jupiter-sized spacecraft going that fast, that close to Earth.
There is ancient villager inside of me right now that wants to light my torch and get my pitchfork. And I can just feel it rising underneath my bones. And I want to storm the castle right now.
I feel like we can...
Yelling shenanigans!
We can see a lot further than that with our telescopes. Wouldn't you think we could see a big spacecraft before we could detect those gravitational waves?
What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, good villager? Well, sir. You used all ye money on ye contraption to spot ye aliens. The size of bleeding Jupiter going a piece of the speed of light. I'm a villager, don't you know?
Right.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
300 and some light years away. I'm not sure how far that is, but it's longer than a year. We're gonna kill you now.
Are you looking at the spacecraft right now?
I'm looking at my liege.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I get into my fantasy.
You do. I wasn't thinking about you bowing.
You have no idea. I actually see the bastard up there.
So anyway, oh, by the way.
I've left him up there. When that happens, they haunt me later in the night. I create them and then I don't put them away.
And then they're like, excuse me. I did fail to mention, my apologies, that they did note that if the aliens were using warp drives, they would be able to spot them too, using the same technology. Because if it was using a warp drive, it would generate gravity waves, So that's another situation in which...
If I had a cane with a hook.
Very important paper they wrote there. Okay, let's move on, shall we?
Riveting.
So let's do the story from Japan. Okay, now, do you remember earlier in the year, we did a story on that other show that we do, the Paranormal Sideshow?
Yes.
Yes, we did a story about the Killing Stone in Japan, and they were worried because the stone cracked in half.
They thought maybe that meant everything had gone to crap.
Well, they thought that it accidentally released the evil spirit inside the stone. Just a quick refresher. This is the Killing Stone in Japan. And the story behind it is that there is a 9-tailed fox spirit named Tamamo no Mae. It's the most beautiful, the most intelligent, courtesan of the emperor at the time.
Takes it forever to take a shit, though.
And it doesn't say it has 9 buttholes, just 9 tails. Maybe they go all the way around. It's like a sunburst thing. Anyway, I don't know. Anyway, courtesan to the emperor at the time, and eventually the emperor became very ill.
You gotta get something on half the tail.
I think this is very true. I believe she was trying to kill. They believe she was trying to kill the emperor. She was caught. Okay, I thought you were going to say something else.
Oh,
about the 9 tails.
I was just trying to get past the one butthole with the. All I can see is the wind blowing all the tails out at the same time. I'm trying to get into the mystical story, and you all of a sudden name the Killing Stone. I swear to fart, I am.
All right, so the woman was killed. Supposedly, she revealed herself to be this spirit of the 9-tailed fox. It was killed. It was put into the stone, and they called it the Killing Stone. Now, local folklore told of some mysterious gases that were released by the rock that proved to be fatal to humans or animals that ventured too close.
But
And in the late 1300s, a Buddhist monk was said to have convinced the fox spirit to repent and released it from the stone, but a lot of people didn't believe that. So back in March, like I said,
Buddhist.
We did the story. The rock cracked, and the villagers wrapped ropes around it because they were scared because the rock was
They didn't
cracking.
want to smell what the rock was cooking.
And eventually it did split in half, and it was all over the news everywhere. So that brings us to the latest news about the Killing Stone. It turns out that they found 8 boars dead around the stone. Wild pigs. 3.
I know what a boar is. That was a look of shock, not a look of confusion.
Okay.
I didn't think a bunch of old men that talk too much that died all of a sudden.
They sat on the rock to talk, and
Oh no!
3
Look at those old boars.
3 adult and 5 young boars were found very close to the rock, which geologists have determined is a volcanic rock located near the volcanic mountain. That's where it's located right now.
Could it possibly be poison gas?
Well, there is a possibility it could be poison gas. Yes, that is one of the theories, but they're actually not 100% sure. They did take the carcasses
Somebody
and
gonna
they
smell it right now?
inspected them. The rock is fenced off, and
Thank you, doctor. I figured this out.
it's told.
Oh my God, it died too!
The gas you're speaking of is hydrogen sulfide, and it does only gather really close to the ground. It dissipates as it gets higher in the air. But that means that pigs and raccoons, fox, any animal that's really small to the ground, could potentially breathe a lot of those gases in and die. They did inspect the bodies before they were incinerated. There was no evidence of like swine flu or anything like that. They're still a little bit worried because they weren't 100% sure that is the reason that they died. And it is still strange to have that many around the rock all at once, like 8 of them all at once. Like that's not something that they normally see. Occasionally they'll see like one fox or a raccoon or something. 8 boars all around the stone, all dead. Very strange.
No, it is strange.
The killing stone is at it again.
When you take away from the hilarity and preposterity, prosperity. No, not prosperity.
Preposterousness. It's preposterous.
It is.
Is that what you're trying to say?
It is.
Okay.
Preposterous.
I don't know how to turn that into a word like that.
Preposterous.
I'll put it on the screen.
S.
The preposterousness. I don't know.
It don't sound right.
No.
That don't sound right. You do. Sorry, I went to China.
This is the story from Japan.
This is the story from Japan. Hi. You got to be deeper, more gruff, more, not really angry, but more assured. Just hi.
To the point.
To the point. This, God almighty, this story is really cool. It was cool to start with, and it's got like that cool, like early 80s alternative, but the cool, like Echo and the Bunnymen or The Cure. It's like, the Killing Stone. Mm-hmm. It's just, that's all I could think of.
Well, I mean,
Killing Stone,
you know how local urban legend
Stone,
is.
The Killing Stone.
Are you done?
Yeah, the legends, and then you actually see the dead pigs. And
yes, so it'll get spread around like, yes, in order to be an urban legend.
You know
forever.
what? We've screwed the pit. We've screwed the pooch on this one. We just need to go on.
Okay, let's move on. Let's talk about something that happened in Kansas City.
Well, there you go.
This is about a Kansas City super fan.
Wow. Went a little blazing saddles there for a second.
Kansas City super fan named Chief Saholic. I don't know any Kansas City football fans we have out there would know this gentleman as being at the games dressed in a wolf costume. Super fan. They've had a lot of super fans over the years.
Huge.
This is a huge super fan. Tweets. It's at every game. Tweets all the time. It turns out that he has recently been busted as a serial bank robber. Chief Saholic is a bank robber.
Can't make this up, folks. This is what Strange is all about.
His actual name is Xavier Michael Babidar, and he was arrested in Bixby, Oklahoma for robbing a bank with a weapon over the weekend. Now, Twitter users connected the dots after he was completely silent on Twitter Sunday. Normally, he would be tweeting up a storm, and they were worried about him.
Big game, don't you know?
He wasn't there. He wasn't talking, and they were concerned.
They're worried.
People were calling the authorities because they didn't know what happened to him.
What's his name again?
Xavier Michael
No.
Babidar. Oh, Chief Saholic.
Chief Saholic. Yeah.
Chief Saholic, yes.
They have all kinds of fans that have these names, and that's what they go by.
Right.
Funny thing that the fans didn't know who to ask for.
Right, when they
They're
call.
calling, they're like, Chief Saholic's missing.
You know, the guy in the wolf costume. He's on TV all the time. He gets on TV all the time. After he was arrested, then people started going back and looking at things that happened. Turns out a lot of these bank robberies that were happening kind of lined up with the chief's away schedule. There is a rumor going around online that he robbed banks in the wolf costume, in the wolf mask. That has not been corroborated. That is not
Yeah, we don't know it's not true, though.
No, we don't know that it's not true.
And we can fantasize.
And there are a lot of really good memes out there of him in the wolf mask.
Bro, let me tell you, if he did, I want there to be some kind of movie shot where all of the super mascots that wear the stupid mascot thing rob banks. Mm-hmm. And
he was robbing
super fans, not mascots. Oh, the mascots could stop the bank robbers.
Oh, Oh, there you go. Mascots are good for those kind of things. They could just jump right on you. They could bring their trampoline and throw it down and like do the big jump.
All kinds of stuff, yeah.
He was caught robbing a bank in the middle of the day. He was caught with a weapon and a large amount of cash. Will Ferrell would be one of the damn mascots, though, and ruin the movie for me. So how much does it cost to go to an NFL football game and buy all this stuff and be at every single game? Apparently a lot of money.
It does, actually.
It does really.
Indeed cost too much money.
To be a super fan and be at all those games and all that
makeup.
Well,
the thing was, if you go back to his tweets, he was tweeting things along the way that kind of had that's like to look at me walking out that bank last night,
Right.
I think the more they look at this,
he was like joking about it.
He couldn't help himself, and he's probably thinking, and I'm sure his defense right now, he's sitting there and he's like, it's not me, it's the wolf.
Villains are always that way, though. They always want to tell you. They give you the hint.
Oh,
they want to be caught.
They can't help themselves. I mean, everybody, even it's like that for everything. Even people that are cheaters, and they leave little things.
I bet when the details of the bank robbery come out, they'll find out that he was caught because he was monologuing. He's probably in there monologuing while he was stealing the money, and they caught him. He
probably was, just talking football. He probably heard somebody say something about the defense, or
the Chiefs are going to lose today or something.
Houston has a chance. It's like a catch game, and it's like, I don't know, but I think we got a chance today, Mildred. What's that? Sorry, Mr. Wolf. Just talking about the game. Saying that Houston has a pretty bloody good chance because no one's going to expect it. And then,
And then his whole bank robbing plan went out the window.
True football fan couldn't resist an argument like that.
Exactly. All right, let's move on to our last story. And this is from Chicago.
Uh-oh.
This is a story about a shark at the Chicago Aquarium, the Shed Aquarium, to be exact.
What?
The Shed Aquarium in Chicago.
Wow.
So that researchers were stunned when they discovered that a female zebra shark had hatched pups without any genetic material from a male. So they have a female shark nicknamed Bubbles, and she hatched pups in her tank that she shares with multiple other adult zebra sharks. And originally they believed that the male shark in the tank had fathered.
Man, there's the zebra, really guilty looking dolphin over there, scared to death because the daddy sharks there, I don't understand what has happened here. Dolphins over there
we don't know.
Magic.
Well, they did genetic testing on the pups because it's part of a research that's related to a breeding program for the species that they're doing because it's sort of an endangered species. And they were stunned to discover that Bubbles was the sole parent, having reproduced via parthenogenesis or virgin birth. These are a good time of year for a virgin birth, I hear.
Damn Messiah shark?
It's Jesus sharks, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, this is not unheard of. A female will fertilize eggs with her own genetic material. They can reproduce asexually on rare occasions, but it's normally when there's a lack of available male mates. So how bad does this male shark have to be? How bad do you think he feels now to know she would rather
it's
reproduce her own pups?
Dateline Chicago Aquarium. Apparently, a large male bull shark has jumped out of the aquarium. No one can tell why he did this or what happened, but it's a very sad day.
She'd rather have her own babies than reproduce with
that would be
this
my
tiger
luck.
shark.
That would be my luck. It's like, hey, you're the last man on Earth. That's right. Guess we're going to have to repopulate this bitch, aren't we? Well, sir, actually, before you came to, every woman here had a hysterectomy or, it's very crazy.
Yes. Like I said, good time of year for the virgin birth.
Girl power, man.
Tiger sharks, baby Jesus sharks, all the other sharks will be bringing in presents, bowing down.
How bad is it you went baby Jesus and originally I thought other stuff, something, a fantasy thing that kind of didn't just kind of happen.
That the dolphin did it?
No, that was a whole nother thing.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, it's crazy though, isn't it?
It is crazy, and it was really shocking.
So you said it's not completely unheard of.
No, it is something that they are known to be able to do, but it is very rare and normally only happens when there are no males around, like when that's the only way that they can reproduce. Because, life finds a way, they're going to do it.
I think there's some female scientist that's made that BS up, and Gertrude there. Oh, Chompers. I think she's been having a little side piece.
Bubbles.
Oh, Bubbles. I mean, her name's Bubbles.
They did the DNA.
She sounds like a dancing shark.
They did the DNA testing, though. See,
it's not a dirty kind of dance. I use feathers.
They did the genetic testing, and they said that the research showed
Where's her brother at?
That she reproduced with her own genetic material. Like, there's no other shark's genetic material anywhere near those babies. What do you mean her brother's shark? She has a brother?
Well, I mean, wouldn't that be the same genetics?
Oh, no. I'm not a shark geneticist.
The next thing we're going to have a 3-eyed shark was born.
That shark has a strange overbite. I wonder how that happened.
Sharkahorn. Sharkacorn. Yet again, sounds like an 80s song, don't it? Sharkacorn, Sharkacorn. And that's why it's a good thing today's the shortest day of the year.